So today on Project Shop, I got my flat deck trailer pulled up here, and we're going to try to mount that winch to the front of this thing. Now, I used to have my crane mounted on here, but the crane would actually take up the whole front portion of this trailer, like up to here. So the whole front of the deck I couldn't use, and I would only be able to load that. And then even having the crane on here, loading stuff, I could only place stuff like in this front section and not back there. Eventually I will put the crane back on here, but probably back here over the axle. That way I can load the front and the back, but it will be removable and movable back and forth. But what I've always wanted on this trailer is a kind of like a bulkhead up front and just a winch, because even with my crane, I would be dragging heavy stuff on, like stuff that was too heavy for the crane to actually pick up, and I would always have to like prop up the boom with like a stick, and then the boom would be like, you know, sticking way out here. I would actually have to turn the boom facing that way and then run the cable back and drag, whereas if I just had a bulkhead with a winch right here, it would make my life a lot easier for certain things. So we got this winch here. I got some C-channel, and I don't know if I'm going to use this or some square bar. I haven't decided on that yet, but I might use that C-channel, cut two pieces, run it across, and then put this flat channel, another C channel but wider, across the top, so I have something big to bolt to. I haven't decided on that yet. I'm still kind of thinking on that. I'm gonna go in the back and look at some of my other steel that I have and see if you know, there's anything else. But I think I'm just gonna cut two pieces of that and, you know, make a maybe like a 3-foot thing coming up. Now this toolbox, I'm gonna leave it on here for now, but eventually I have another toolbox in better condition, and as you can see, this toolbox has kind of deformed down around the thing. I'm actually gonna make a bracket, you know, with some angle iron for the next toolbox to sit in. We're gonna do some upgrades to this trailer, but I have a job tomorrow. Well, actually it's really late right now, so probably in the morning, later on today, that I need to drag something up on this trailer, and I don't have time to rebuild my crane and all that stuff, and the crane's just going to be in the way anyway. So we want as much of the deck as possible, and this is just something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And even when I put the crane back on here, it's still going to be nice to have the winch, because I can actually use the winch to pull the crane forward and back, depending on where I want it on the deck here. So I'm going to round up some steel, see exactly what I want to do here. Hopefully I could just whack this in half and go ahead and just weld it on there, even if it's temporarily while I kind of work out the kinks. Now ultimately I would like to have that winch removable, where I can keep it inside the box so it's just not out in the weather. And but for today, we're just going to mount it on there and see how it goes, and then we'll upgrade it as we go. As I pull this box off, you know, we're going to put a deep cycle battery in here to power the this thing here and the winch, and then yeah, this trailer will be actually pretty tricked out when we're done with it. Might even put a fender on it one day. All right, so basically I'm just going to cut this beam right in half and weld it to the trailer. Hopefully we have enough clearance. Now, like I said, I'm going to put this on there with the 110 welder. There's actually a couple other modifications I want to do in the future to that trailer, and I might have to move this But I don't think so. I think I could put it here and it'd be just fine. So I'm gonna whack this with the Sawzall. Ground the wrong side. All this scrap I'm about to use, I bought from a guy I bought this for, I don't know, shred or prepare. I forget what I paid. I think I gave the guy 10 cents a pound just because I knew I was going to use this stuff. A piece of C-channel like this would be way more than 10 cents a pound. I didn't know what I was going to use it for at the time, but it was good steel stock, and it's hard for me to pass that stuff up because like this, I just rummage around the stuff I got, and basically for pennies on the dollar, I'm going to build what I need. Okay, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get the ends cleaned up on the trailer and get these mocked up. Now, I cut this with a saw. It's not very straight. It had a straighter edge here, which I'm going to keep up, so I can, I'm going to tack these on and get them where I think they need to be, and then I should be able to lay that other plate right on top of this and have a nice flat deck across. So I'm going to get these in place, tacked on, then I can get my distance from there to there. I'll cut the other piece, we'll weld it on. Should be a quick and simple setup. Like I said, this might be temporary, it might stay. If it stays, I'm gonna kind of reinforce it in the future. But for today, I just needed to drag something on the trailer, and what I'll do is I'll actually run, I bought a snatch block, so I'll run it back, and then so I'm not pulling as hard as I would straight on. So pretty much these two pieces was literally meant for this. What I did is I came off of this bottom rail, which is a C channel, so that's pretty straight, with a square up here, and I'm just welding it out here so I have clearance. In the future, I'm gonna make sure it's welded all the way on this seam in here, and then out here, down and around. It should be all right for now. I'm going to actually, I have pinholes in the deck, like right there. Eventually, I'm going to make a strut, like a piece of angle iron that's going to go from here to there with some quick pins, so I can just unpin it if I need to load something on either side. But it'll give this thing support. And if I actually bolted it and, you know, squeezed it tight, it would actually give like the front of the trailer a little more structure. But I offload pallets all the time with this thing. Anyway, that thing is loud as heck over there. I'm just gonna time lapse. I'm gonna fill in that weld, and then we're gonna weld the top piece, and then we're gonna mount the winch. All right, I'm running out of time fast. Damn sun's coming up. Now, I was here late last night, and then I actually fell asleep in my office till about 3 in the morning, and then came out here and started this project. But this is where we're at. Everything's welded in. This thing is solid. Okay. Ultimately, I'm gonna have a quick release deal, but for now, I'm just gonna weld this plate. I don't have time to do this. I need to get this done so I can go drag this thing up on here. I'm gonna weld this plate just like this, and I'm not even gonna wire it in right now. I'm just gonna bring a battery and some jumper, some leads, and then we'll deal with all this later. But I still have access to open my toolbox, which is great. And eventually what I'll do is I'll put some D-rings on here, like maybe 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom or something like that. But as it is now, I can hook my straps to this, and I can strap things to this thing. Now, I don't want this thing to protrude past, so for now, I mean, I'm gonna weld it kind of back here, but in the future, I'm gonna have this thing where I can bring it in and out from the back. I'll put a receiver hitch like for a truck, but have it stick out back a little bit, and then I'll just keep this thing in the toolbox so it doesn't get in the weather, because like the one crane, the winch on my crane would just, every year I'd almost have to replace it just from it being out in the weather and the corrosion and stuff like that. So like I said, for now we're just going to weld it on there, and then we'll deal with it later when we got more time. But I'm pretty stoked about this. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I literally got this material about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but it was good material, and yeah, it's a good, nice little addition to the trailer. So, and this is going to be something nice I can eventually attach some removable sides to. Like, I can start working them back. I got some ideas for that, but we need to dial this trailer in, fix a couple things on it, and put fenders on it, finish the brakes, rewire it. I just got new wire that I'm going to rewire all my trailers with, because these wires are shit. So I'm going to finish this, and I got to get out of here in the like next 30 minutes. I'm filthy from grinding and welding. I gotta go take a shower real quick, so I'm running extremely late, so we ain't got time to play. We're just gonna weld this thing on. All right. That's that. Now, I'm gonna I'll let that cool down a little bit while I clean up. I'm gonna push the trailer out so I can start bringing stuff in. I'll let that cool down, then I'll bolt it on, and then we're gonna get out of here. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I am gonna give that a coat of paint and paint the welds, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now. I feel like I kind of rushed it, and I feel like that's leaning forward. All right, there you have it. Now, it's not the prettiest thing in the world right now, but I will come back, probably put a couple more tacks on this thing. I'm gonna put a receiver hitch so that I can slide this in from that way and it be flush with the deck. I don't want to be protruding past, you know. I want to be able to bring things right up, butt it up against this, and not have that thing in the way. But overall, I'm super stoked about this. It's something I wanted to do literally since I've had this trailer, probably for 10 years. So because like I said, using the crane to pull stuff up on this trailer was always a process, because I would have to pull it this way, jack the thing up, rotate the boom, strap the boom down to the thing to pull hard. Now for today, I probably am going to run a strap around this to the front just to hold it back, and we are going to be using the snatch block because the thing that we're going to be picking up is probably pretty heavy, and it's pretty big, so we want to be able to pull it pretty much all the way up onto the trailer. Or there is a tank with it. We might put the tank up front and pull. I don't know, we'll figure it out when we get there. So stay tuned for that. If you come this far, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We're gonna dial this thing in, give it a paint job, make it look nice. We're gonna do some type of quick connect thing with this, where I could have the battery right in this box and just pull out a line, plug it in, do what we got to do, get a wireless controller for it, and we're gonna be dialed, man. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?